The collab that was supposed to unite generations just lit the entire culture on fire. Kendrick Lamar and the Clipse, two names that command respect across eras, came together for a project that fans believed would shift the rap game permanently. But just days after the drop, things took a sharp left. Because now, Malice is breaking his silence, and he's not just distancing himself from the hype. He's calling out a fake coalition that allegedly used his name, Kendrick's, and even Pusha T's image to build a narrative none of them agreed to. A coalition built on lies, a collab built on assumptions, and a story that's unraveling fast. What really happened during the Kendrick X Clipse sessions? Why is Malice publicly rejecting the rollout? And who's behind the unity messaging that Kendrick's team is now allegedly denying ever approved? The fans are confused, the blogs are buzzing, and insiders say this might be the biggest backlash of Kendrick's career since Control. But this time, it's not about shots fired. It's about trust broken and the fallout could tear apart. Not just a collab, everything we thought was real about this new wave of rap brotherhood. Stay tuned, it gets deeper. For years, fans begged for it. Kendrick Lamar, the Compton philosopher, the Pulitzer-winning MC, the modern prophet, and Clipse, the Virginia Beach legends, the lyrical street kings, the cold-blooded brothers whose pen game birthed an entire generation of coke rap and moral conflict. The idea of Kendrick linking with Pusha T and Malice felt too good to be true. The gritty duality of Clipse fused with Kendrick's poetic depth, a cultural moment, and then it happened. It started with whispers, studio sightings, a blurry video of Kendrick walking into a Virginia studio with Pusha in the background. Then came the cryptic tweets. Pusha T posted a photo of a microphone, captioned, "Power in every word." Brotherly silence lifted. Malice followed a few hours later, back in it, not for fame, for purpose. Kendrick posted nothing. But his silence only added fuel to the fire. And then, with zero promo, the first track dropped. Titled Coalition, the song was raw. Kendrick opened it with a verse about brotherhood forged through fire, distrust in labels, and enemies within the culture pretending to be allies. His tone was focused, controlled, the kind of verse that hits deep without shouting. Then Pusha came in with a vicious second verse, slick metaphors, direct jabs, and an icy, calm delivery. Classic Push. Then Malice. His verse was the most surprising. A chilling breakdown of spiritual warfare, betrayal masked as love, and trust that rotted in the dark. Fans were stunned. It felt like Malice had stepped out of the shadows with something to prove. Social media exploded. Malice back and rapping like he never left. This Kendrick X Clipse track just changed the game. Period. They not rapping. They testifying. Even artists Wade INJ Cole reposted the song with flame emojis. Lupe Fiasco tweeted, "This that grown man pain. This that what the game been missing." The hype was instant, but the tension, it was already building, because in the days following the release, headlines started surfacing, mostly from smaller hip-hop blogs, quoting sources close to the collab, claiming that this was just the first phase of a larger project. A new label coalition, a secret initiative designed to reunify hip-hop through purpose-driven collaboration. They called it the Coalition Movement. A logo started circulating, black and gold, with the letter C made out of chains breaking apart, and in it, Kendrick, Malice, Pusha, rumored to be backed by TDE alumni, No Malice's faith-based partners, and even industry legends like Pharrell and Top Dog. There were even unverified leaks of an upcoming coalition tour. Merch, mock-ups. Quote from Kendrick allegedly saying, "This ain't rap, it's repair." But here's the thing. None of it was real. And that's when Malice's tone started to change. He stopped posting about the track, stopped liking fan comments, stopped engaging altogether. Then a blog posted an alleged screenshot from Malice's inner circle. He's heated. None of this coalition talk was ever cleared. They're using his return for a rollout he never co-signed. And suddenly, the fans who were celebrating started asking questions. Was this Kendrick's team trying to force a movement? Was Malice tricked into participating in something bigger than music? Why was nobody speaking on it? Not Kendrick, not Push, not even TD. Behind the scenes, Malice was getting ready to speak. Insiders say he was blindsided by how fast the coalition narrative spread. What he thought was a powerful one-off track, a lyrical reawakening, had become a movement, falsely marketed under his name. A source close to his camp said he returned to make a statement. But now he feels like the statement's been hijacked, and just like that, the collab turned into controversy. The silence was about to break, because when Malice speaks, he doesn't hold back, and what he said next would change everything the fans thought they knew. The track was barely out for 72 hours before Malice hit send. An email. Simple subject line, clarification on Clipse involvement, legal notice pending the recipient. PG Lang, Top Dog Entertainment, and a handful of music media outlets that had already published headlines like Kendrick and Clipse form new hip-hop coalition inside the email, which has now been leaked and verified by multiple insiders. Malice didn't just distance himself from the collaboration, he denounced it. At no point did I consent to being part of any movement, coalition, or philosophical unity campaign. My participation on the track was based on artistic respect, not ideological alignment. And the bombshell: any messaging distributed beyond the music, including campaign materials, hashtags, or interviews implying a joint mission, were crafted and published without my approval. It was official. Malice was accusing someone of using his verse, his name, and his brand as a pawn in a larger scheme. A scheme that's starting to look less like a creative moment and more like a marketing strategy gone rogue. That's when the emails hit. A batch of screenshots, allegedly from a group chat between PG Lang's junior team and an outside PR firm, leaked online under the headline, #Fake Coalition, How Kendrick's collab rollout was engineered from the start. One message read, "We need Malice to play the return of wisdom angle. Push is the fire, Kendrick's the truth. Malice is the voice of redemption." Another, "If Malice won't sign off, we move ahead anyway. The message will carry him." That line set the internet ablaze. The message will carry him. You don't carry an artist, that's manipulation. So this was fake unity, label-driven narrative. Malice's fanbase, small but fiercely loyal, came to his defense immediately. He left the game to find peace, and they used his peace as PR. Malice didn't ask to be anyone's moral compass. This is why he walked away. He knew the industry would try this. Meanwhile, Kendrick, he stayed silent. Not a tweet, not a post, not a peep. And in that silence, the pressure. Now things were spiraling. Kendrick manipulator or manipulated? Malice betrayed prophet or miscast MC? Pusha T silent partner or unaware passenger? And then the unexpected happened. Pusha T finally broke his silence in a midnight tweet that felt like both shade and smoke. He wrote, "I rap. That's what I do. I don't draft narratives. I don't sell slogans, and I damn sure don't speak for my brother." He followed it with 3 dots, then deleted it 10 minutes later. Too late, screenshots flew across timelines. Debates ignited on every podcast, every Twitter space, every TikTok comment thread, and the question now: was Clipse truly reunited, or had they been separated again from the inside? Because here's the darkest part. A third leak surfaced, this time from someone claiming to be an engineer on the session that produced Brothers in Blood. According to this source, there were two alternate versions of the track. Malice's original verse had a clear critique of the rap industry, but it was more universal. The final version, the one they released, was cut from multiple takes, spliced, rearranged, made to sound like he was supporting a cause he didn't write for. The engineer claimed Malice never signed off on the final mix, and now Malice is reportedly threatening legal action unless the track is removed from all DSPs or re-uploaded with a disclaimer. This is no longer just a backfired collab. It's potentially a copyright and identity violation, a public betrayal disguised as brotherhood. Music heads are calling it the biggest ethical controversy in hip-hop since the ghostwriting era. And guess who else has quietly started? WATCHING J. Cole. Yup, he was spotted liking a tweet that read, "This why Cole stays out the room with too many egos. Kendrick playing with fire." Fans are begging for a response, but Kendrick's silence? It's growing louder, and one more twist is coming, because the next leak includes an unreleased voicemail from Malice to Kendrick, and the contents destroy any hope of repairing this fragile coalition forever. The leak dropped at 3:27 a.m. Eastern. No warning, no watermark. Just a raw audio clip posted to a throwaway account titled @Truth from Mal, and within minutes, it had over 2 million plays. The file. A voicemail from Malice to Kendrick Lamar, and it wasn't gentle. "I didn't leave the game to become a puppet. I didn't come back to be a prop. I came back because I had something to say on my terms. What you let your people do was not just misleading, it was sinful." His voice was calm, almost eerily so. But every word hit like a confession turned warning. We were supposed to rap, Kendrick, not build idols. The clip ended with a line that immediately trended across every platform. "You made it seem like I was part of the plan, but I was just the seasoning." Fans couldn't believe it. Malice wasn't just hurt, he was exposing the manipulation at the heart of one of the most anticipated rap moments of the decade. This was no longer about verses. This was about vision, hijacked. The public turned. Quickly, Kendrick got Malice, sounding like he walked into a spiritual setup. They used this man's redemption arc to sell hood unity. This is worse than ghostwriting. This is ghost philosophizing. Then came the media storm. Complex dropped an emergency panel video, with a journalist saying, "If this voicemail is real, and all signs point to it being 100% authentic, then Kendrick's entire coalition rollout just became a case study in artistic exploitation." Hip Hop DX ran the headline, "Malice breaks the matrix, did Kendrick cross a line too far?" And while fans begged for Kendrick to speak, he finally did, not on Instagram. Not through a press release, but in the form of a 3-minute freestyle. Video uploaded to PG Lang's site under the code title Corrections. Shot in grainy black and white. Kendrick stands in a hallway, hoodie on, no jewelry, no production, just his voice. And what he says divides the culture instantly. I tried to unify voices that won't sit in the same pew. That's on me. I tried to build a choir out of soloists. That's pride. That's on me. He continues, "Malice, if I caused you pain, I ain't above saying I'm wrong. But know this, the game don't change unless we preach past the choir." Some took it as accountability. Others saw it as a deflection wrapped in poetry. He apologized without actually owning the manipulation. That's not a confession. That's a verse with PR baked in. Kendrick still thinks he's above it all. That's the problem. The response from Clipse fans was even more intense. One viral tweet said, "This man turned to brothers. Boundaries into a business plan. And y'all calling it art?" And it wasn't just fans. Terrence "No Malice" Thornton's wife, who has never spoken publicly about her husband's career, posted a Bible verse on her private Instagram story. Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. No caption, no context. But everybody knew. The industry started choosing sides. Some producers who had been involved in the rumored coalition project quietly pulled out. A couple of Kendrick's collaborators archived recent promo. Blogs noticed that Top Dog himself unfollowed several PG Long creatives. Even Pharrell, the man who birthed the Clipse sound, posted a cryptic photo of a broken vinyl record with the caption, "Legacy matters more than momentum." Meanwhile, Malice went radio silent. No interviews, no appearances, no statements, but sources close to him say he's weighing a decision that could shake hip-hop to its knees. A tell-all podcast is in the works. Not for fame, not for clout. He wants to teach, to reveal how the machine really works. But that's not even the biggest twist, because while the world was focused on the Kendrick versus Malice drama, another name quietly resurfaced. A former TDE engineer dropped a tweet saying, "Y'all so busy looking at Kendrick and Malice? But nobody asking why Absol walked out the studio during the first coalition session." Wait, what? Suddenly, attention shifted. What happened in that first studio session? What did Absol hear that made him leave? Then came the final leak, a low-quality, barely audible audio file from inside the studio. Someone had been recording secretly, and you could hear it. A disagreement. A voice sounding like Soul, saying, "This ain't music no more. This a sermon without the spirit. I'm out." Followed by a door slam. That leak was just enough to confirm it wasn't just Malice who felt uneasy. There were fractures. From the start, people warning Kendrick. People walking away. And now, Kendrick's coalition is nothing but smoke. The final track might remain on streaming, but its foundation has cracked. Its message shattered. Its integrity gone. More part remains. By the end of the week, #FakeCoalition had crossed 500 million views across TikTok, Twitter X, YouTube, and IG Reels. Kendrick Lamar's freestyle response video had been reposted thousands of times, and the coalition track removed from multiple editorial playlists on Spotify and Apple Music. The backlash wasn't just digital, it was personal within hip-hop. Lines were being drawn. Artists who had once celebrated the collab were now deleting posts, untagging themselves, or speaking out against what they saw as a false narrative. J Electronica on Twitter. "Malice is a vessel. You don't hijack vessels for clout." Joe Budden on his podcast. "This ain't even about music. This is about pushing spiritual branding while ignoring real human consent." That voicemail? Kendrick gotta wear that. All of it. Chance the Rapper posted, "Faith without consent is manipulation. Art has to honor both." But some weren't so quick to attack Kendrick. Lupe Fiasco tweeted, "Intent matters, but execution matters more." Kendrick aimed for elevation and hit exploitation instead. A teachable moment if pride allows it. Still, the tone across most of the industry was clear. Malice didn't return to rap. He was pulled into a rollout. That narrative stuck, and fans weren't letting go. Across TikTok, creators reenacted scenes dramatizing the Kendrick-Malice-Busha triangle, using leaked lines and voiceovers from the voicemail. One viral audio clip, mimicking Malice's quote, "You made it seem like I was part of the plan, but I was just the seasoning," spawned over 20,000 reels under the hashtag seasoned but silent. People were no longer discussing the bars. They were dissecting the betrayal. And it didn't stop there. One of Kendrick's oldest collaborators, J-Rock, was asked during a live stream if he'd still work with Kendrick on any coalition follow-ups. His answer? "I ride with my brothers. But not if they leave the others in the dark. Even Kendrick's own fanbase started to fracture. His Reddit community was flooded with divided takes. "Y'all act like Kendrick ain't human. He tried something powerful and it slipped. Bro. He turned Malice into a meme. How are we defending that? If the message ain't mutual, it ain't real." Petitions popped up calling for PG Long to release all internal communications around the project. The goal? Transparency. Accountability. Something. But while Kendrick's camp stayed quiet. After the freestyle, Malice's camp began making strategic moves. A press rep for Malice dropped this statement. He did not return for spectacle. He returned to serve a purpose, and that purpose was not marketing. He will not be speaking further on the matter, but his team is reviewing all future projects for creative protection. Translation: he's not going to war, but he's never stepping into another Kendrick rollout again. Meanwhile, fans turned toward Pusha T, who had yet to fully address the fallout beyond his deleted tweet. But what really got people speculating is a single image posted on his IG story, a dusty Bible. Caption: "One page torn can change the whole meaning." Cryptic, cold, possibly aimed at Kendrick. Some thought it meant Push stood with his brother. Others believed it was a subtle call-out, a reminder that even faith can be exploited if the wrong hands hold the pen. Then came the wildest development of the week. A rumored Netflix docuseries pitched around the now-failed Coalition project. An insider at the platform confirmed that PG Long had originally been in talks for a 6-part behind-the-scenes documentary showing how Kendrick, Clipse, and a select circle of hip-hop minds came together to rebuild unity. But now, the deal is off the table. No one wants to air a series about fake brotherhood and real betrayal. Not when the whole thing just blew up in public. Still, not everyone turned on Kendrick completely. Some younger fans on TikTok continued to support his intentions. He tried to build something different. It flopped, yeah, but his heart was in it. Malice is valid, but this generation needed that kind of messaging. Maybe Kendrick was too early, not wrong. But despite the split opinions, there's no denying the facts. Malice has walked away. Again, Pusha is distancing himself. The track is buried and Kendrick's credibility shaken, and now a new rumor is beginning to swirl. That Malice has returned to the studio, not with Pusha, not with Kendrick, but solo. And this time, it's not a verse, it's a full-length sermon in rhyme. It's his own project, one that might unpack everything we weren't supposed to know, while the world obsessed over Kendrick's silence and the ruins of the so-called coalition. Malice was already making moves. Quiet ones, intentional, calculated, and then a new song surfaced. Not on Spotify, not on Apple Music, not under Clipse, not under GOOD Music, not promoted by Pharrell, not boosted by any blog. It appeared without warning on Bandcamp under the name L. Thornton. The track, titled Exegesis. The cover art, a worn Bible with the spine broken open, pages bent, and the word redacted burned across the middle. No hook, no feature. Just 3 minutes and 32 seconds of Malice unleashed. He didn't mention Kendrick by name, but the message was clear. I walked through the wilderness with prophets in disguise, who hid their ambitions behind baptized lies they offered. Me sermons with strings on the script, they dressed up a scheme, then called it a gift. The lyrics were scathing. Not bitter, surgical. I saw my image printed on a cloth I never wore. My words turned to slogans. My silence sold in stores. I left the game for peace. Not a puppet play. And when they pulled the curtain back, Dodd said, "Walk away." Fans were stunned. This wasn't a diss. It was a declaration. Malice wasn't backing down, fading out, or begging for clarity. He was reclaiming the narrative. Within hours, the song spread across Reddit, Twitter, and TikTok, despite having no official Upload, fans ripped it, reposted it, translated every bar. Music journalists declared it one of the most haunting returns hip-hop had ever seen. This is what Kendrick tried to package, except Malice delivered it without needing a movement. Then came the twist no one expected. A verified publishing. Rep confirmed. Malice is working on a full-length solo album. The project is titled There Will Be Nitrogen Monoxide, Coalition. 12 tracks, independent, no features, no Kendrick. No Kendrick, no compromise. And, reportedly,